What chance do you give the Wallabies winning back-to-back matches against the back-to-back world champions and current Rugby Championship holders as well? I mean, I gave them practically zero chance before the game in Johannesburg, and Joe Schmidt masterminded one of the most famous wins in Australian rugby history. And if I were to have given Australia a shot, it would have been here in Cape Town. Well, here we are. You're expecting a Boklash, a reaction to the shocking defeat that it was last weekend. But what have Australia got in store? Joe Schmidt has named his team. I'm going to go through it. I've got a combined 23-man side as well. And let me know your thoughts in the chat down below. Give the video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Isn't Cape Town just effortlessly and endlessly beautiful? Even when the tablecloth is coming down over Table Mountain, as it is right now, and over there on Lion's Head, as the sun sets in the background. I'm Tim and this is Egg Chasers. If you appreciate the content on the channel, drop a little thumbs up and hit subscribe as well. The dynamic coming into this game is very different off the back of a South African defeat. As I say, reaction is what I feel is going to be in store. The Boks have made lots of changes. But on the flip side, Australia are one more game down the line together and confidence built again. Both teams have got key men out, including their captains, Siya Kolisi, among others, Peter Steph-Toy, Kurtley Arendse, all out for the Boks, but they bring in some really, really experienced players like Dielende, like Colby. Whereas for the Wallabies, the injuries, can they replace them like for like? Do they have the depth? That's going to be tested. Harry Wilson is out, the captain. James Slipper, former captain, out as well. Dylan Peach is out. So you've got a debut for Corey Toole, who leapfrogs Andrew Kellaway into the starting side on the wing. Tom Robertson leapfrogs Angus Bell at loosehead prop, with Joe Schmidt preferring to keep Angus Bell as an impact player. I thought he was great off the bench, and I really thought he was going to start this week. How can Tom Robertson go up in that Wallaby front row? What difference? I think that could be an influential change, that one. And then Valentini is in for Harry Wilson. And that feels like a decent trade. That feels like the kind of change, if you were forced to have your captain out of the team, that's the kind of change you would want to make. Someone of the calibre of Bobby V coming in. Leadership is something they're going to be missing with no Harry Wilson. And one thing you got to say, Harry Wilson has been heroic. He was through the Lions series. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You think about where the Wallabies were when they had a poor first test against the Lions. They felt aggrieved to have lost the second test and the series. And the way Harry Wilson and Joe Schmidt have corralled this Wallaby team, pulled out that performance in test number 3, and then backed it up here in South Africa is phenomenal. So I have no doubt they are going to miss the talismanic leadership of Harry Wilson. But Rob Valentini, like I say, just as a rugby player, pretty good replacement. The leadership, though, is also missing, as I mentioned, with James Slipper. So is that hole going to be one that they can fill? But then again, like I say, South Africa are facing exactly the same situation. Yes, they're bringing back experience with Colby and Dielende and Pollard and Leroux, but they are missing Peter Steph-Toy and Siya Kolisi, who are kind of talismanic figures for the Boks as well. So that's going to be really interesting. Robertson in for Slipper. That feels to me like it could be a bit of a step down. And Robertson is a loose head prop that was a tight head prop, and also I can't keep up with exactly where Tom Robertson is. I think is he a loose head that's been playing club rugby a bit on the tight head, or is it the other way around? Anyway, he's in the number 1 jersey. He's going to be up against a number 3 for South Africa, who was a loose head prop. And Thomas du Toit is due the kind of performance on the international stage that he has delivered, and I've watched him week in, week out produce at club level. And I've made bold statements like he's not only the best tight head prop in the Premiership, he's the best rugby player in the Premiership. And that's a Premiership with people like Finn Russell in it. That's how highly I rate Thomas du Toit. I think Tom Robertson, this is my prediction, I think Tom Robertson's in for a tough afternoon. But then you've got Angus Bell on the bench, and maybe that is part of the thinking, although Thomas du Toit and Wilco Low as a pair is a tough proposition. I'll get into that in a minute. Corey Toole, that guy is absolutely rapid. Absolutely rapid. he's probably going to be the quickest guy on the field, and Australia had elite levels of pace. Max Jorgensen and Tom Wright are speed, and Corey Toole is even quicker than those guys, so they are going to be dangerous on the counter-attack. But could Corey Toole be exposed in defence? I think that is an opportunity for South Africa. He's new to this level, and he's still learning the nuances of wing play, particularly defensively. So I think I think Pollard, the conditions, they're nice at the minute. They're not due to be so good at the weekend. So I think Handré Pollard might rain some bombs on Corey Toole with Kane Moody, a big old unit himself, who's waiting there. So that is the Wallaby team. Just a quick break before I do my combined team. Let me just show you around. So I am at the 3 Boutique hotel. It's a Lion Roars hotel and lodge, and they've looked after me on the trip to South Africa, and they've done so brilliantly. And I'll tell you what, the views from this place are next level. Full view of Table Mountain all the way around to Lion Head, Signal Hill. It is breathtaking. It really, really is. And so thank you to Lion Roars Hotels and Lodges. And look, because of their support, I can offer you a 10% discount on booking. So if you book any Lion Roars property directly via email, reservations@lionroars.com, and use the code EGGCHASERS, and you will get 10% off their best available rate. Okay, you can travel anytime, but to get that 10%, book before the 30th of September to benefit from the code. So you've got a while yet, so start having a look round, make your plans. They have got properties right the way down the garden route, from here in Cape Town, right in the middle with views like that, all the way down to Port Elizabeth, Safari, beaches, winelands. They have got your back. Now, back to the game. Let me grab a seat. So then what about a combined 23-man squad then? If you had access to all 23 Wallabies, all 23 South Africans, who would you select? Why? And what does it tell us about how you see this game going at the weekend? So in the pack, I have gone for, in the front row, all 3 South Africans, Oxenche, Malcolm Marx, and it was a tough call between Taniela Tupou and Thomas du Toit. I thought Taniela Tupou was really good last week. I'm delighted that he's actually fit and available to play, because he was definitely hobbling around last week. It looked like his calf was tight again, and I wasn't sure he would play, but great to see him available, and he was brilliant. But I've gone for an all South African front row. Second row is going to be a fascinating battle, partly because Nick Frost did such a number on the box at line-out time. Norkia and Snyman, you would expect, along with Mostert in the back row, will have a big impact there. However, no, I'm going to go for Snyman and Skelton as my combination. Yeah, they're both brilliant. In the back row, I've gone all Wallaby. I've gone all Wallaby in the back row. And here's my thinking. Fraser McRae, massive, massive game last weekend. I thought Marco van Staden was one of the box that actually played quite well. But I've gone for Fraser McRae. Franco Mostert or Tom Hooper. Mostert, when he's on, is absolutely brilliant, and he will sort out a lot of the line-out issues. I've just gone for Tom Hooper. In that third test against the Lions and last week, he was outstanding, coming up with massive moments, big turnovers, huge defensive hits. And Rob Valentini and Jean-Luc Depree. This is a huge game for Jean-Luc Depree. He has got an opportunity that he's been waiting for. He missed out last month because of concussions. His last game, his last start for the box was back in 2018 when Rassie Erasmus had just arrived as the head coach. He's got another opportunity now, and I think he could be in a position to take it and take full advantage. But I've gone for Rob Valentini, who's just got that pedigree at international level. So a whole Wallaby back row and a whole South African front row, that does give you an indication of where some of the balance of power may lie. I do feel like it's going to be a more traditional Bok performance. Maybe the conditions are going to dictate that. But are the Wallabies going to have the platform? South Africa just need to try and win some collisions so they don't give that Wallaby back row the opportunity to go and jackal and steal. As for the back line, I have gone for Grant Williams and Handré Pollard. Whatever the conditions, those two are absolutely class. And Pollard, if there was a World Cup this weekend, World Cup final, he'd be the guy I'm picking every day of the week in World Rugby to play fly half. So he's going to manage the conditions, whatever they may be. Diolende and Creel, can't look past them as a combo. They're proven, they're tried and tested. It wasn't Jesse Creel's best game. Captain this week, big responsibility. And Lenny Kitao and Joseph Sualiti, a blossoming partnership. But I've gone for the tried and tested there. On the wings, Cheslin Colby, one of the best wingers on planet Earth and has been for some time. Max Jorgensen, maybe one of the best wingers on planet Earth right now and could be for many years to come. He is 20 years old and one of the best young players on Earth. I've gone for him and Tom Wright as well. So only 2 Wallaby backs, bearing in mind their backs absolutely tore it up last week. I feel this Bok team looks a bit more robust. I don't think they're going to be exposed defensively. I think they'll manage the game a little bit more than they did last week. And the challenge for South Africa is not giving Australia the opportunities by playing loose and actually taking their opportunities when they had them. When you watch that game back, for all the good stuff that Australia did, and they did do lots of it, South Africa had the opportunity to kill that game. They had so many 28-2 entries and didn't take it. Can they do it this weekend? I think it will be the Boks by 2 scores. Let me know what you think. Drop a thumbs up on the video, hit subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.